NBC News noted that Combs was visibly moved during the statements, putting his head down to cry as his daughter Chance took the stand. The 18-year-old told the court, "We have emptiness in our lives," noting that her father's 13 months in jail have been unexpectedly healing. Combs also has a 2-year-old daughter named Love Sean, and in her speech to the judge, her 18-year-old sibling D'Lila stated in part, "Our 2-year-old sister is asking where Dad is, the same way we grew up motherless. It's a hole that can't be filled. We are tired of being strong. We have already lost so much, our mother, our father. Please give us the chance to heal together."
Diddy's twins didn't just show up to support their dad. They ended up becoming the whole story. When the judge read 4 years, the air in that courtroom got heavy. Nobody expected it to hit like that. Some thought there'd be cheers from the crowd. Others figured the lawyers would take over. But instead, the moment belonged to Jessie and D'Lila Combs, 2 teenage girls trying to hold themselves together while the world watched their father crumble. Now, people love to talk like court is about justice, but let's be for real. The show is half the product. Cameras might have been banned inside, but trust, the story was being filmed in real time. And when the twins broke down, that became the only clip anybody needed. You could almost hear a collective awe across America. It wasn't just about guilt or innocence anymore. It was about 2 kids begging the world to see their daddy the way they still do. Here's the part folks miss. In Hollywood, feelings are currency. You don't just spend money on lawyers, you spend emotion on the public. And the twins, they just gave the biggest emotional deposit their family could make. Allegedly, a few PR people in that hallway looked like they wanted to cry too. Not out of sympathy, but because they knew how good this would play. There's a name for that in psychology, by the way. It's called the halo effect. Basically, when somebody's loved ones love them hard enough, your brain starts thinking they must not be that bad. You see those girls cry, and suddenly all those headlines about the fallen mogul start feeling harsh. And now, I ain't saying those tears were fake, don't even twist it, but Hollywood runs on what I call emotional choreography. You might not plan the dance, but when the music hits, everybody knows the steps. Family walks in, cameras outside. One kid speaks, voice trembling, the other tries to comfort her. Silence stretches just long enough for every reporter in the room to remember what empathy feels like. That's storytelling, baby, and in crisis PR, that's a masterpiece. And what hit me hardest wasn't the crying, though. It was the silence after. For one full beat, nobody said a word. Not the lawyers, not the judge, not even the people who came to hate watch. The energy flipped. The man in the beige suit stopped being Diddy the brand and turned into Shan the father. Allegedly, one of his sons later told someone that moment changed everything. Maybe it did, or maybe it just reminded everyone that when fame starts falling apart, the only thing that still hits harder than a scandal is a child's love.
Sean Diddy Combs is getting support from his kids. During the rapper's October 3rd sentencing hearing, several of Combs' children took the stand to advocate for their dad, who is facing years in jail following his July conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. During their remarks per NBC News, his 34-year-old son Quincy told Judge Aaron Subramanian that his father is, quote, a changed man. His brother, 31-year-old Justin, went on to add that he hopes his father will get the chance to right this wrong and to be the man he truly is. 27-year-old Christian Combs also asked the judge to give his father grace in his sentencing, adding, "He is the greatest in the world. He is my hero, has always been my hero, and always will be my hero. He always taught me to treat women with respect."
Soon as the twins' tears hit the floor, the rest of the Combs family did what any famous bloodline does when the world's watching. They started building the new version of him. And baby, it was slick. You could almost smell the PR ink drying before the sentencing even ended. First up was Quincy, calm, media trained, probably rehearsed in the mirror that morning. He came with words soft enough to smooth over the whole situation. He's grown, he's learned, he's evolving. All them shiny redemption verbs. Quincy said Diddy wasn't the same man the streets been whispering about, that the father he knew had changed. Now, that could be true, but it also happens to sound like a press release dressed up as a testimony, allegedly. Then Justin took the mic and really leaned in, called his dad his superhero, said he was the man who taught him how to stand tall, how to fight for what's right. You could practically hear violins behind him, his voice cracked, nice touch, and the word forgiveness showed up right on cue. This boy didn't just speak, he rebranded, because in the court of public opinion, tears are sympathy, but second chances are strategy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not dragging the kids. They were doing what families supposed to do, protect their own. But Hollywood families, they know that protecting and positioning can be the same thing. I've seen this play before, and so have you. One moment it's heartbreak, next moment it's hashtag activism. See, here's the thing about celebrity crisis management. It ain't always about proving innocence, it's about restoring image stability. Psych folks call it cognitive reframing, which is just a fancy way of saying you change what people focus on. The Combs kids didn't deny nothing. They didn't defend specifics. They just shifted the whole conversation from what he did to who he is, from scandal to soul. And once that switch flips, the details stop hitting as hard. What people forget is that image rehab usually starts at home. When the kids cry, the public sighs. When they talk about forgiveness, fans feel licensed to move on too. Allegedly, Diddy's PR team been laying low for weeks, letting the family carry the emotional weight, because nothing says growth like letting your children speak your redemption into existence. That's the new model. Let the innocence in your life sell the innocence in your case. By the time the hearing ended, folks weren't talking about the sentence anymore. They were talking about love. That's power. Not music chart power, but human narrative power. The kind that keeps your name from turning toxic. Whether you believe it or not, Diddy's team just pulled off a rare Hollywood pivot. A fall wrapped in forgiveness. A rebrand sealed in tears. And maybe, just maybe, that was the headline he needed more than any acquittal.
Going into today, there was the potential Combs could have even been out within weeks. So how did he react when he heard that sentence?
You know, Nancy, what was notable was how little reaction there was. He looked down at his hands, they were clasped in his lap, and he just looked defeated. The same with his family. It was very quiet in that courtroom, very solemn, and it was a drastic difference from earlier because this day stretched on for a really long time. Many people spoke in court, his attorneys, and most notably his children.
Let's keep it real. Celebrity redemption is basically a group project between the sinner, the audience, and the algorithm. Everybody's got a role. The star performs remorse, the public pretends to believe it, and social media keeps score like a digital confessional. And when it comes to public penance, Diddy ain't the first to test how far tears and time can stretch forgiveness. He's just the latest face on a very old playbook. Think back, we've seen this movie before. Remember when Chris Brown showed up on Good Morning America all stiff and sorry after the Rihanna mess, talking about growth? Or when Justin Bieber went on that I Found God tour after his wild years? Both allegedly studied from the same crisis manual. Step 1, apologize just enough. Step 2, show family or faith. Step 3, cry on camera if possible. Hollywood don't care how deep your regret runs. It just needs to look clean enough for advertisers to come back. What makes Diddy's case so sticky is that it's mixing real family pain with a brand that's built on untouchable swagger. He spent decades selling can't stop, won't stop. Now he's got to convince people he did stop and learn something. That's not easy when your whole public image was alpha male energy and champagne fountains. Allegedly, insiders say his PR people started softening his look months ago. Less black shades, more beige suits, fewer bottles, more Bible quotes. You can almost see the narrative pivot in real time, from bad boy for life to dad boy with lessons. See, psychologists say humans are wired for comeback stories. We love to watch people fall, but we love even more to watch them crawl back up. It makes us feel merciful, evolved, even holy. That's the redemption bias. It's why fans still debate Kanye like he's a prodigal cousin instead of a serial chaos merchant. Or why every few years the industry opens its arms to somebody we swore we'd never forgive. Hollywood survives on short memory and long sympathy. But this Diddy thing, it's complicated because the timing's different, the culture's shifting. Audiences now treat sincerity like evidence. If you can feel it, it must be true. So when his twins cried, people didn't analyze, they absorbed. They projected their own daddy issues, their own grief, their own need for forgiveness. That's how parasocial relationships work. We assign depth where we've only seen surface. The same way fans once looked at Will Smith crying on that red table couch and saw healing even when half of it was clearly performance. The courtroom scene gave Diddy a sliver of humanity the headlines had stripped away. But here's the danger. Once emotion enters the chat, logic exits stage left. Folks don't ask what really happened. They ask what feels fair. And fair in celebrity land often means, has he suffered enough to make us comfortable watching him again? That's not justice. That's emotional math.
There is a human being now in custody for 50 months.
Look, Diddy was just sharing.
Based upon conduct that a jury heard, the jury resolved, and the jury rejected. It is really a sad day for everybody.
Here's the part that makes people squirm. The size of Diddy's alleged sins versus the size of those tears. Like, are we really gonna pretend two crying teenagers erase years of whispered NDAs and lawsuits thicker than the Bible he's suddenly been quoting? Because that's what Hollywood does best. It makes forgiveness look fashionable. Let's not get selective amnesia. The man didn't land in that courtroom over a parking ticket. There's a whole list of people, women, employees, bodyguards, who've told stories that would make your skin crawl. Allegedly, everything from beatdowns in hotel suites to shady business deals that chewed up young artists and spat them out broke. Cassie's lawsuit alone read like a horror script. Control, violence, manipulation. That case vanished as fast as it appeared, settled quietly. Which, which in Hollywood language usually means expensive piece. Now I get it, nobody wants to drag a family when the kids are crying. That's the emotional trap. You see those twins shaking and your brain does this shortcut thing. If they love him that much, maybe he's not that bad. That's human nature. Empathy don't have an off switch, but we gotta be honest. Empathy can also be emotional anesthesia. It numbs the part of you that remembers the harm. History stays proving this pattern. Remember when R. Kelly dropped I Admit It from jail? He literally tried to remix confession into PR. Or when Tory Lanez's family cried outside court, claiming the system was against them while Megan Thee Stallion limped her truth across timelines. Every time, emotion tried to overshadow evidence. And every time, a chunk of the public let it. Because guilt feels heavy, but sympathy feels good. That's why celebrity accountability barely lasts a fiscal quarter. We turn trauma into content, repentance into branding. Look at how quickly the narrative spins. Yesterday's predator becomes tomorrow's father trying to change. We did it with Mel Gibson. We did it with Kanye. We almost did it with Chris Brown. Again, the formula never fails. Cue family, cue tears, cue prayers. Hollywood eats contrition for breakfast as long as it's photogenic. The question now ain't whether Diddy's daughters meant their tears. Of course they did. They're kids. The question is whether we let that innocence stand in front of the damage, because those girls didn't ask to be PR shields. They were born into the storm. But make no mistake, those tears got used. Every sob became a soft focus filter over a man whose alleged victims never got the same sympathetic lighting. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. When I watched that footage, I didn't feel vindication or forgiveness. I felt deja vu. The pattern's too clean. A mogul falls, the family cries, the public flinches, then forgets, and slowly the machine starts humming again, powered by pain it never fixed. If Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that tears are never just tears. They're optics, they're leverage, they're PR gold in a world allergic to nuance. So when the culture starts whispering, maybe he's changed, remember what's being bartered. We're not just forgiving a man, we're forgiving a myth. One we built, one we broke, and one we might be too sentimental to bury for good.
I want to ask both of you, Eric, was there a sense that both his, what he said today and the video was actually a play beyond, he knew he was going to get jail time. This was a play now for public opinion as he tries to manage and continue on?
I think that's exactly what it was, and I think it worked a little bit. We were talking about that a second ago, and it was impactful because you saw people in the audience crying, wiping tears, and I mentioned the time that Sean Combs was overcome.
Your thoughts on that?
I agree 100%. And watching him watch the video after his kids cried, he could barely watch parts of the video, and he's crying. It was very. I think the video, his kids, and him speaking saved the rest of his life that he has when you talk about something like this.
Okay.
4 years. That's what the judge said, but y'all know how the system moves when fame and money walk in together. With good behavior and the right legal choreography, Diddy could allegedly be home in 2.5, just in time for a redemption docu-series and a soft-focused GQ interview about growth. They all do it. Martha Stewart went to jail and came out more marketable than ever. Gucci Mane turned prison time into a fitness and finance rebrand. Even T.I. slid from federal charges to podcast host like it was a glow-up montage. But Diddy, that's a different beast. His whole career fed off control of sound, image, people. Prison ain't built for control, it's built for surrender. If he really does his time, he's gonna meet the part of himself no party could drown out. Maybe he'll come out quieter, maybe humbler, or maybe, like so many before him, he'll step out those gates ready to remix the narrative, not rewrite it. Because this town forgives fast. What it doesn't forget is spectacle, and if Diddy's downfall taught us anything, it's that in Hollywood, repentance isn't the end of the story. It's just the next rollout.